Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma, and I'm Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha, and it is so nice to be here. Our sentiment of loving kindness is, may you remember you are enough. May you remember you are enough. This is a great sentiment because while I know that, I don't often feel it. Or I shouldn't say it quite like that. I am challenged. There are times in my life where self-doubt erupts in my mind and heart, and I question what I know. I question my wisdom, and so I create all kinds of suffering, all kinds of discomfort. I'd like to invite you to relax, arrive, settle into the body. I'd like you to turn an inward gaze, even if you're active right now. If your meditation today is such that you need to move your body, you're out walking, or maybe you're having some lunch or working, and this is just on in the background. Every once in a while, if you can gift yourself a moment to just come inward a little bit. And come inward with a spirit of gentleness and curiosity. If you can imagine your inner being as perhaps a long corridor with kind of old funky lighting, and maybe you're just approaching yourself this corridor and the little rooms off your corridor with a candle. Some kind of shy light, nothing glaring, nothing startling for this practice today. Just a gentle illumination. And take a few moments to breathe. Maybe chant to yourself, I remember I'm enough. I'm enough. In the last few verses of Shantideva's work, he has been describing two kinds of bodhicitta, heart-mind, and that is an aspiring mind, a mind that desires, that wants, that has good intentions to really endeavor to bring peace and joy and to alleviate suffering in oneself and in others. To have the thought of doing that in Shantideva's mind and in his teaching is a great aspiration to hold. You may not pull it off, it may not always happen, but to hold on to the aspiration, to really dedicate yourself to create a life that is motivated by wanting to bring peace, wanting to bring joy, wanting to alleviate suffering in any way you can. And the next aspect of the bodhicitta is to put that aspiration into some kind of action. And this play between these two things, the aspiring mind and the engaged mind, our dualistic binary conditioning has us already compartmentalizing that one is better than the other. And even to the degree that having an aspiring mind maybe isn't enough, but we have a sentiment of metta to remind us, and Shantideva's wisdom that has endured through the centuries to remind us that an inspiring mind is enough. If that's what you have, that's enough. And your aspiring mind will inform your engagement. So I'd like to read for you today the next 5 verses, and then I'll give you a little my interpretation of them. So this is verse 26. And again, Shantideva is saying that if you have an aspiring mind, if you want to reduce suffering in yourself and by extension in others, that's extraordinary. He writes, how can we possibly measure the benefits of this jewel of a mind, the source of joy for all beings and the cure for all sufferings? If the mere intention to benefit others is more meritorious than making offerings to the Buddhas, what can be said of actually striving for the happiness of every single living being? Although living beings wish to be free from suffering, they run straight towards the causes of suffering. And although they wish for happiness, out of ignorance, they destroy it like a foe. For those who are deprived of happiness and afflicted with many sorrows, bodhicitta bestows upon them boundless joy, eradicates all their suffering, and even dispels their confusion. Where is there virtue equal to this? Where is there even such a friend? Where is there merit such as this? In the first verse I shared with you, verse 25, verse 26, sorry. The aspiring mind, the engaged mind, has its eyes set on dispelling misery and bringing joy. That is so incredible. And I'd like to put this in the context of recovery, because something that I have observed in the 10 years that I have been facilitating meetings, I've met hundreds of people who want to heal, who do not want to engage in intoxicants, who do not want to feel miserable. But recovery is really difficult and challenging for some people and for periods of time. On the journey of recovery, there is inevitable missteps, wobbles, recurrences, confusions, discomforts, upendings. And in those places of misery, we can get lost in the failure, and we can start shooting ourselves with second arrows. So not only are we mad at ourselves for having a recurrence, now we're mad at ourselves for causing all kinds of harm and destruction, and we just dig a deeper and deeper hole. And so this particular verse is a reminder to say, yo, 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 breathe. Take a moment. You also have an aspiring mind to heal, to reduce suffering in yourself and others. Return to that aspiration. Let it be enough. The next verse is he's talking about how people make offerings to Buddhist statues. But to have an aspiring mind is greater than to just make offerings. And what he's talking about is, remember that Shantideva lived in the 8th century. He lived during a time, and it's still popular in many places around India and Asia, where you make offerings of food and incense and water to different statues and deities, particularly in Hindu traditions, flowers. It's very, very ritualistic. It's really beautiful. It's a way to enact and bring to life one's personal intention, one's aspiration. But to have a mind, Shantideva is saying, that not only performs these beautiful rituals that reflect one's aspirations, but to actually engage that aspiration in changing your life, in positively affecting someone else's life. This is extraordinary. In the 28th verse, he reminds us that we know this. We know that we can get lost in darkness. We can get lost in habit energy. We can get lost in misery, shoot ourselves full of second arrows. We do it all the time. In fact, we get suspicious of the positive even. So to aspire to heal from even that, what a beautiful effort. To put down the anxiety about what if the other shoe could drop. Oh no, I'm catastrophizing. And what if we could simply be with what is going on in this moment? And even if what's going on in this moment is difficult and painful, what if we could aspire to be with that difficulty and not engage it habitually? Do something different. Bring your light. Bring your aspiration. To be with the discomfort is to heal the discomfort. In the next verse, Shantideva talks about the greatest obstacle to bodhicitta, to having an aspiring mind, having an engaged mind, to really commit to this healing is ignorance. And ignorance isn't stupidity. When I think about ignorance and how it lives in me, the word that really comes alive for me is when I'm ignoring something. When I am ignoring something, I'm in a posture of resistance, which is ignorance. I'm in a posture of confusion, which is ignorance. I'm in a posture of fear. The habit energy is to be very judgmental toward myself about that. Bodhicitta says, we're not doing that anymore. I'm simply going to observe, wow, look at me ignoring this, whatever this discomfort is. I'm avoidant. I don't want to deal with it right now. I'm attached to my pleasantness. I'm just being human. But because I aspire to reduce suffering in myself, I know to A, identify what's going on with me, B, breathe, C, give myself a little time, a little pause to just allow this experience to unfold so that I can find my agency, find my power, and shift things. And Shantideva in the last verse reminds us, this is all within you. It's all within me. We may have a habit energy. Certainly in the West, we have a habit energy of externalizing power. So we wait for an external source to change the conditions of one's life. And Shantideva is saying that's one avenue. But another avenue is you and me to work with life. I have a lot of power, and so do you. I have an aspiring mind. I have an engaged body. I have resources that I can put into action and effort that can affect change. And it all comes from my heart and my mind. This bodhicitta within you is a faithful companion, a loyal friend. You may doubt, you may lack trust, which is why this is a practice. So let's put this into context of recovery. And discomfort in general. And let's say we are having a craving and we feel insecure and that doesn't feel good. And then we have memories of habit energy and we feel temptations. And then we get mad at ourselves for having cravings, for having temptations, for having these thoughts. It's so frustrating and disheartening. And then we feel uncomfortable. We're aware, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Breathe. Yes. This is what it's all about. Be with it. Breathe. Identify it. You are enough to shift it. It might not shift in a minute. It might take an hour. It might mean calling someone. It might mean going for a walk. It might mean lying down. Keep breathing. To be with your discomfort is to heal your discomfort. And that we do with this incorruptible bodhicitta Buddha nature. Tomorrow. Alrighty, friends, let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. So we dedicate this practice because we just really do want to take stock that coming here, sharing here, it's extraordinary. It's beautiful. There's a lot of goodness that has happened here today. And so we take in that goodness, not just for ourselves, but to bring healing out into the world. The way you're present can change everything. So I'd like to read just the first sentence in the Recovery Dharma dedication of merit. It's such a profound sentence. So see if you can take in every word. Refuge does not arise in a particular place. Refuge does not arise in a particular place, but in the space within the goodness of your heart. I think that's what Shantideva was trying to impart. May you find refuge in your heart and in your mind. Both are inherently wise, incorruptibly good. May you find their shy light. Have the courage to bring it forward in the dark corners of your own life for the healing and well-being of yourself and for all of us. Thank you so much for your practice, friends. We'll see you next time. Namaste.